Welcome back for my team selection video for Gameweek 2 of Fantasy EFL. I did watch some of the EFL Cup midweek games, and although it always has some kind of influence on the decisions you make, I have tried to kind of ignore those results, as the Cup is always very different from the league games. If you are enjoying the videos, please subscribe. They'll be coming throughout the entire season to help you win your mini-leagues. Let me know if there's also anything you think I can improve on. My aim is to improve my graphics to start with, and then think about different content I could do throughout the season as well. So let me know your thoughts on that anyway. So first, let's have a look through my Game Week 1 team first. It actually started off quite badly for me on Friday night, because Sammy Smodics wasn't in the Blackburn starting 11, so I actually took him out of my team. Obviously, he then went on to get a goal and an assist, which at the time I was quite annoyed about, but I replaced him with Luke Molyneux, who actually got 2 goals and an assist, and actually saved my Game Week 1 team a little bit, so he got a huge 19 points. Blackpool were really disappointing with losing 2-1 away at Crawley. This was the game that really let my team down for Game Week 1. I had their keeper Grimshaw in, who obviously didn't keep the clean sheet, conceded 2 goals, and only made 2 saves as well. And then I also had Jordan Rhodes in, who obviously did nothing, just ended with his 2 appearance points. The underlying data was there to back him up, but unfortunately it didn't pay off. I also had them as one of my team selections, so that really let me down, getting 0 points. The main reason I went for them was obviously I was expecting a win, but it was the appeal of it being an away fixture and the potential for the extra 2 points. But I think I'm going to have to rethink how I'm playing that section of the game and maybe stick to safer home games and only pick away games where necessary. It's just more important to get solid points rather than worrying about those extra 2 just for an away game. I had Shane Dunkley in, who conceded quite late on against Swindon on the Friday night. Maybe quite unlucky to not get the clean sheet there, and also should have had a penalty to win the game. He made 3 clearances too, so finished the game on just 3 points. My other defender was Anthony O'Connor, and although Harrogate lost the game, they conceded twice and he got a yellow card, he still ended up on 7 points due to his 2 tackles, 17 clearances and 3 blocks. That just shows how important the research was behind the pick, so hopefully that works out for us across the whole season. The other couple of players I had was Jack Nolan from Gillingham, who played well, and I was happy with him and how he performed, as he scored in a 4-1 win, getting 9 points overall. And then I had Alfie May captained. I expected Birmingham to do better, to be honest, but luckily they got a penalty which Alfie May dispatched, so I ended up with 18 points for him. Norwich were just as disappointed as Blackpool were, and I also ended up with 0 points for them, so yeah, like I said before, I'll be rethinking how I pick my teams for that section. So overall, I ended up with 59 points, so not the worst, not the best. It left me on a current rank of 11,933, so definitely aiming to get into the top 10k, hopefully even top 5k this week. So let's now go through my team selection for Game Week 2, starting with the keeper. This week, I've gone for Max O'Leary of Bristol City, who are at home to Millwall this weekend. In Game Week 1, Bristol City conceded to a 91st minute penalty from Hull to draw the game 1-1. Last season, Bristol City were the 4th best defence for goals conceded and kept 13 clean sheets. He had a save percentage of 73.2% last season, which was the 3rd best in the league, and makes an average of 3 saves per game. Bristol City just always seemed to have a pretty solid defence, and I wasn't very impressed by Millwall in Game Week 1, even though they scored 2 goals in a 3-2 home loss to Watford. For this game against Millwall, Bristol City have a clean sheet percentage of 44.4 and a win percentage of 49.6. O'Leary made 4 saves in Game Week 1, and after conceding the penalty late on, finished with just 4 points, but he is my goalkeeper pick for this week. Moving into defence, I've got Vitinho of Burnley. A little hidden gem here, and let me explain this. So, I don't know if you watched the Luton vs Burnley game on Monday night, but if you did, you'll see that Vitinho was basically playing as a right winger very high up the pitch, and he also scored the 4th goal. He won 5 tackles during the game as well, but in Fantasy EFL, in the game, he's added as a defender. So Burnley as a team looks seriously strong, and I was also thinking about putting James Trafford in net this week, but I didn't really want the double up. But yeah, I knew Burnley were going to be a team I wanted to target this week, and I thought if I could combine the defensive clean sheet potential with how attacking Vitinho looked in that game against Luton, then he could be in for some huge points here. Cardiff had a bad start to the season with a 2-0 home loss against Sunderland, so going away to Burnley is going to be even harder than that. Burnley's clean sheet percentage for the game is 41.7, and a win percentage of 61.9, and so I'm very happy with him in my Game Week 2 team, and he's actually a captaincy consideration. I'm currently trying to figure out a strategy for the max captainship, and the best week to use it, but I'm not sure there is one at the minute. I think it's very luck based on which week you use it, but I guess if there's a week where you don't have like a strong captaincy pick that is like high above the rest, then it's a good week to use it, but I'd feel a bit strange using it this early on in the season. Alongside him in defence, I've got Michal Helik. He ended Game Week 1 with 9 points in a very good Huddersfield performance and a 2-0 win against Peterborough. He obviously kept the clean sheet, and Huddersfield also beat Morecambe in the EFL Cup 3-0, so they're looking very defensively sound. This week Huddersfield plays Stevenage. It's their first home game of the season, so fans will be expectant. They have a clean sheet percentage of 44.4 and a win percentage of 55.6. Helik actually scored a disallowed goal against Peterborough that would have made it 3-0. And after watching it on the replays, I actually think it should have counted, but basically that just shows that he is still as attacking as he was last season with his 9 goals and finishing as Huddersfield's top scorer. With Huddersfield playing with 2 wing-backs, they obviously get a lot of crosses in, but they also play for set pieces, which is obviously where Helik is most dangerous. Stevenage did have a good start to the season with a 1-0 win, but I just think away at Huddersfield this will be too difficult for them. So that's my defence for now, and I'll move on to midfield. Honestly, I did think about just leaving my midfield exactly the same as last week, as it went so well, and they still have good fixtures this week. I have left one of them the same, so I've gone with Jack Nolan still. Obviously he scored for Gillingham in their 4-1 win over Carlisle, and this week they play Morecambe. Okay, it is an away fixture, but Morecambe have been bad this so far, and the amount of goals Gillingham score, I'd be surprised not to see Jack Nolan involved again. So I'm hoping for more of the same with him, but I have decided to change Molyneux to Davies Keeler-Dunn of Mansfield. So Mansfield scored so many goals last season, and Keeler-Dunn got 22 of them from midfield, and he also got 10 assists. Mansfield had a really good start to the season with a 2-1 win over Barnsley, and now we're at home to Burton. He also did score in the EFL Cup yesterday against Bolton. Mansfield have a projected goals of 1.24, with a win percentage of 46.5. So I'm hoping this pick pays off, and he's only selected by 1.9% of players at the time of recording. Okay, now it's time for my attackers, so I've gone with Reece Healey of Huddersfield, who didn't score last week in their 2-0 win, but he was heavily involved in a lot of the chances, accumulating 0.85 xG. Against a weaker side, and no disrespect to Stevenage here, but I expect him to have even more chances. And he was rested midweek in the EFL Cup game, so he should be fully fit to play the full 90. Huddersfield are projected to score 1.39 goals, and I expect Healey to be involved in the goals that they do score. He's also another captaincy option for Game Week 2, so if anything is to change in my team before Friday night, it'll probably be the captaincy. But at the minute, my captain is my other striker in Middlesbrough's Lati Lath. He scored 9 goals in his last 7 championship games, scoring in each of them. He scored a penalty in Game Week 1, and Middlesbrough have a projected goals of 1.24. They do have an away game, but it is at Derby, who conceded 4 goals at Blackburn in Game Week 1. I think over the season, Middlesbrough will be a stronger side than Blackburn, so this could be a high-scoring game for Middlesbrough, and I expect Lati Lath to be involved in the goals as usual. He had an XG of 1.09 in Game Week 1. So that's all my players. As I mentioned before, the only thing that might change before Friday is who my captaincy is on, but it's between Lati Lath, Healey and Vitinho. Lastly, I'll just go through my team selections, and this week I've decided to go for 2 home games instead, and I've gone for Burnley and Huddersfield. I've already mentioned both of these throughout the video, but just quickly, the reasoning and stats behind them. Burnley are at home to Cardiff with a clean sheet percentage of 41.7 and a win percentage of 61.9. They are also expected goals of 1.7. Huddersfield are at home to Stevenage and have a clean sheet percentage of 44.4 and a win percentage of 55.6, and have expected goals of 1.39. It looks like I've got a very strong team here for Game Week 2, so hopefully we can make an improvement on our rank this week. Let me know what you think of my team and what changes you would make, if any. If you did enjoy the video and are looking forward to Game Week 2, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.